Welcome to News Mongolia. We will bring you the latest stories and updates from across the nation and beyond. I am Batsir Namshar. On News Mongolia today, the Sustainability Dialogue 2025 Climate Change 1 Billion Trees Summit has officially begun in Mongolia. Mongolia hosted the 10th Eastern Europe and Central Asia Regional Conference of the International Association of Prosecutors. Acting Foreign Minister of Mongolia receives non-resident ambassador of Oman to Mongolia. For the news, stay tuned. The Sustainability Dialogue 2025 Climate Change 1 Billion Trees Summit has officially commenced in Mongolia, uniting global leaders, experts, and over 600 delegates from 11 countries to address the urgent impacts of climate change. Over the past 80 years, the extent of permanent snow, glaciers, and permafrost in the Altai Mountains has decreased by approximately 40%. In addition, the average annual air temperature in Mongolia has increased by 2.55 Celsius from 1940 to 2024. As global warming and climate change accelerate due to irresponsible human activity, environmental degradation is intensifying worldwide. In response, Mongolia, along with other nations, is making major policy decisions to combat climate change. This summit, now being held in Mongolia, aims to strengthen multilateral cooperation and support innovative initiatives to address climate change and promote sustainability. According to the Climate Vulnerability Index, Mongolia ranked 54th out of the 187 countries in 2022. This study identified the vulnerabilities and challenges of Mongolia and concluded that well-implemented adaptation plans, Mongolia has the full potential to mitigate the negative impacts of climate change. This highlights the importance of international cooperation and shows that we still have an opportunity. The future of Mongolia depends on bold decisions, wise actions, and shared aspirations of our generation. With support from international organizations, investors, and the private sector, we aim to implement our climate goals and leave a more sustainable and greener Mongolia for future generations. Countries are now engaged in current discussions to address environmental challenges caused by climate change, aiming to fulfill commitments under SDG 13. In Mongolia, efforts are aligned with Billion Trees national campaign to combat land degradation, desertification, forest loss, and to preserve biodiversity. This summit is especially notable for bringing together over 40 speakers from 11 countries, including Stanford University, the governments of Hungary, the Kazakhstan, the UNCCD Secretariat, and the Global Green Growth Institute.
In 2021, 4 years ago, under the visionary leadership of President Hurel-Sukh, the Billions of Trees initiative was offered to respond to the challenges of extreme weather, deforestation, desertification, and biodiversity loss in Mongolia. In this regard, I am quite inspired by the climate policy of Mongolia set by the leadership of His Excellency President Hurel-Sukh and determined to willingly join him in the planting trees ceremony today. I'll stand ready to contribute my attention and resources to its success. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the people of Mongolia and Korea share a spirit of inclusiveness and resilience. This spirit represents the overarching values for implementing the SDGs for all and leaving no one behind. and the Republic of Korea and Mongolia can explore a lot of opportunities to coordinate development strategies, technologies, and finances to meet with the common challenges of climate change and achieve goals of sustainable development.
This year's summit brings together over 600 representatives from the environmental, financial, and technology sectors. Discussions are focused on four key themes: climate finance for sustainable development, technical cooperation and corporate social responsibility, knowledge sharing and enhancing climate resilience, and regional cooperation for land restoration and climate mitigation. A significant number of prominent guests working in climate finance have come to Mongolia to share how global funding mechanisms are developed and how they can be allocated transparently, effectively, and with maximum impact. Their experiences and insights will inform participants in Mongolia and all those attending the summit on the implementation and future priorities of climate finance.
We are striving to improve the implementation of our 1 Billion Trees national campaign while preparing for the 17th Conference of the Parties to the UN Convention to Combat Certification, which Mongolia will host in 2026. Until then, we aim to strengthen international cooperation and ensure our voice is heard both globally and regionally.
In line with its global environmental commitments, Mongolia successfully initiated the UN General Assembly resolutions to declare 2025 as the International Year of Cooperatives and 2026 as the Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists. Within the framework of the upcoming UNCCD COP17 in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia has proposed an international umbrella initiative to promote sustainable rangelands management for the future, which participants acknowledged as a highly significant contribution. Mongolia hosted the 10th Eastern Europe and Central Asia Regional Conference of the International Association of Prosecutors for the first time, bringing together over 100 representatives from 25 countries to address global legal challenges and strengthen cross-border cooperation in combating cybercrime. The 10th Regional Conference of the International Association of Prosecutors for Eastern Europe and Central Asia, held from June 4th to 6th, played a key role in strengthening prosecutorial cooperation at both regional and global levels. The conference aims to address pressing legal and criminal justice challenges through collaboration among prosecutors. The conference was officially opened by President of Mongolia, Khurelsukh, Mongolia's Prosecutor General, Jargalsakhan, and IAP Secretary General, Roel Dona. Mongolia remains firmly committed to protecting the core values of democracy, the rule of law, and human rights and freedoms. We have consistently advanced the legal reforms to strengthen the independence and autonomy of the judiciary, including the prosecutorial system. We actively work to implement international treaties and conventions in full and adapt global best practices to our national context. Moreover, we are proud to have cooperated actively with regional and international partners in upholding the law, protecting human rights, and combating cybercrime. During the conference, a total of 16 presentations and panel discussions were held under various sub-themes, including social networks and the evolution of crime trends, combating crime against children in digital spaces, using technological innovation to fight crime and human trafficking, regional trends, strategies, and victim protection mechanisms. The state institutions, especially law enforcement, often identify and locate perpetrators, yet are unable to act decisively when the suspects are abroad. This highlights the limits of jurisdiction. That's why mutual understanding and collaboration between prosecutorial and law enforcement bodies across borders are extremely critical. Over 100 representatives from the prosecution offices of 25 countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, China, Turkey, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Kenya, and Mongolia participated in the conference, held under the theme The Evolution of Prosecutorial Roles and Challenges in Combating Cybercrime. The event served as a platform to share best practices and innovative approaches for international cooperation in the field of law and justice. You're watching News Mongolia. Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
On June 6, 2025, Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia, Batutug Batmukh, received non-resident Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Sultanate of Oman to Mongolia, Nasar Al-Busaidi. Acting Foreign Minister Batutug expressed gratitude to Ambassador Nasar Al-Busaidi for Oman's first-time participation in the Ulaanbaatar Dialogue International Conference on Northeast Asian Security, and expressed delight that her official visit to the Sultanate of Oman was of high importance and yielded concrete results. Ambassador Nasar Al-Busaidi conveyed greetings from Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Sultanate of Oman, Badr bin Hamad Al-Busaidi, and expressed satisfaction that bilateral relations and cooperation between the two countries have actively developed over the past 2 years. The ambassador reaffirmed his readiness to actively work on expanding economic and investment cooperation and implementing joint projects and programs.
Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for Mongolia and the world major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Goodbye.